So this month is my turn to give this 3 days evening teaching, and I chose the text which you have in your hand, Bodhisattva Talent of Jain, which very interestingly I translated this into English. 2014, what does it say actually? 2014? 2003, see, quite some many years back. Guinea soldiers was giving this teaching, so I had to translate the root text. And so this is really a very, very precious text. And I developed a strong desire to help people get familiar with this text, and most importantly to make myself familiar with this text, honestly speaking, right? And this is basically an outcome of a dialogue, a question and answer between Atisha and Domdoma. Atisha was one of the most famous Indian teacher who visited Tibet. He is known as Pidamkar Shirijan, and he was said to be this, the second son of a royal house in eastern India. And his given name was Chandra Garbha at birth. And his father was Kalyan, which means the good, and his mother Parvavati, which means the radiant one. After experiencing a vision of Tara, he had this very unusual connection with the Tara Devi. So after experiencing a vision of Tara at the age of 11, on the eve of his marriage, because in those days in India, there's the system of child marriage. People are married at a very young age. So just before the eve of his marriage, he got this vision of Tara. Because of this, he entered the religious path, initially practicing Hair-Vajra in the company of many planted practitioners. I'm basically reading this because it's also important to get a gist of who the Atisha is and who Dimonkara is. And there's no point for me to try to say something, because this is not an oral examination. Right? What you want is to get the essence, And Atisha was said to have studied with a number of Indian Mahasiddhas, including Zetari, Kanha, Avadudipa, Dombipa, and Naropa. And it is reported that he received the Bodhisattva vow at Nalanda from Bodhibhadra. He later dreamt that the Buddha himself urged him to ordain, and at the age of 29, he did so in a monastery in Bodh Gaya. According to Tibetan hagiographies, for 2 years, Atisha studied at Odantipuri with the Dhammarakshita, the author of an important Lojong mind training text, which is called the Will of the Sharvedas, Tepochako Lojong Sanche Kolo. Historians have called this into question, however. He voyaged to Sumatra, where he trained in Bodhicitta with the monk Guru Suvarnadipa, Selingpa, Lama Selingpa. Loma Shivaji Tuzingna China, Dosena, Tawama Shivaji Tuzingna China. Kawashivaji was residing on the island for 12 years. And once he reached there, I think after traveling 6 months on a boat, imagine in those days, the hardship that he must have encountered in those days, traveling in a small boat for 6 months. And then he finally reached this land, Suvarnadipa, and met this master who is called also Lama Selingpa. And then there he studied with him for 12 years, primarily the practice of cultivation of bodhicitta. Returning to India at the age of 45, he sequestered himself at the great monastery university Vikramshila, where he really became one of the eminent scholar, deciding scholar there. The story of the Puran, anybody from Puran? I'm sure there will be some people from Puran. So the story of the Puran King's invitation to Atisha is one of the great Buddhist legends of Tibet. According to the story, towards the end of the 10th century, the king of Puran, Lalama Yeshiva, the two uncle and his nephew Lama Yeshiva, a descendant of Yalung kings, whose destiny ended with the collapse of the Tibetan Empire in 842, was dismayed at the state of Buddhism in Tibet. This Dharma king was really very, very concerned. What? Because he was very dismayed because monasteries had closed and tantric practices that had previously been tightly controlled by the state-sponsored religious institutions were proliferating among the Tibetan laity and merging with native practices, meaning that in the name of Tantra, many stupid, silly things were happening. So this king, Yeshiva, sent his 21 young Tibetan, he sent 21 young Tibetans to Kashmir at that time, with the aim of reviving the religion in his kingdom. Now imagine in those days, out of 21, only 2 survived to return to Tibet, one of whom was the great translator, Losava Rinpoche Sangpo. So there are many stories like this, many of these devoted Tibetan kings sending young ones to study in India. Many of them just died on the road because of the heat and, robbers and thieves and things like that. So only 2 survived, out of which one was Rinpoche Sangpo, who established many important monasteries in western Tibet and what is now kind of Ladakh. It is reasonable to consider that with their sponsorship of Buddhism, the Purang leaders hoped to model their kingdom on the great empire of the ancestors. Changchobu, Yeshiva's nephew and successor. Now there's a long story of how Lama Yeshiva was imprisoned by the Muslim Khalwa king. He was asking for a big ransom, and then later on he gave all the gold that his nephew collected to go to India and invite this great teacher. So Yeshiva's nephew and successor even contemplated the restoration of Samye, the center of Tibetan imperial religious display. Returning to Purang, Rinpoche Sangpo told the kings about Atisha, because Rinpoche Sangpo was in India, so he knew about Atisha. So Rinpoche Sangpo told the kings about Atisha, whose fame was then known across the Buddhist world. In the mid of 10th century, Changchobu sent a first mission of 9 men to India, headed by the translator Gyalotsawa Tsundu with a sizable offering of gold. But Gyalotsawa's 8 companions did not survive. See again here, did not survive the journey and unable to bring Atisha. Only Gyalotsawa was able to make it to India, and he stayed in India and studied there and tried to invite Atisha many times but could not. According to legend, while collecting more gold to hire Atisha services, Yeshiva was kidnapped by an ardently anti-Buddhist Khalok Mongol ruler. The Mongolian demanded a ransom of all the wealth intended to be offered to Atisha. But Yeshiva told Changchobu, his nephew, to leave him to his fate, that it was far more important that Atisha be brought to Tibet. So you can see the sacrifice of this king. The next mission to India was headed by the Tibetan monk, another translator, Nakso Losava Chutamgyalpa, second translator, who left accompanied by several companions. The leadership of Vikramshila is said to have refused to allow the Tibetans to take Atisha away. In fact, he said, "You Tibetans are here to steal our precious teacher." And the hagiographies make much of the subterfuge employed to prevent the success of their mission. Nevertheless, Atisha is said to have been urged by Tara herself, because she was his personal kind of deity, herself to accept the Tibetan invitation. And he, in fact, one of the suggestions she made, she said, if you go to Tibet, you will be able to do great service to the Dharma, only that your life will be a little bit shortened. Okay? And engaged in some deception of his own in order to obtain permission from his abbot. So his abbot was not letting him go. So they engaged in some kind of deception, saying that no, we are going for a pilgrimage in some places in India. So that pilgrimage became bigger and bigger and becoming closer and closer to Tibet. To Sin, that is Govardhan Saruch, any Kali Pachi, to Redwa. He told this abbot that he was going to show the Tibetans the pilgrimage sites of India. The abbot Ratnakara saw through the deception, but permitted Adisha to live on the condition that he returned in 3 years. In 1040, Adisha and Nakso set out for Tibet, accompanied by Gyalo Zawa, who had aided them at Nepal. There, according to some, Adisha met Marwa, interesting, whom he had asked to become his translator. Marwa was not only a great scholar, but a great translator. Marwa declined. After 2 years of travel, they reached Tulung, the capital of the Purana kingdom. Tulung. Adisha resided in Tulung for 3 years, giving teachings to give birth to his masterpiece. Giving teachings that give birth to his, gave a lot of teachings, which later on became the source for his wonderful text called Bodhipattva Dipa, Chanchu Lamji Doma. The short text in 67 verses lays out, for example, if you are interested, then you should try to read this text. Many of these Lamrim texts that we have today at our disposal, the root of those Lamrim texts is Chanchu Lamji Doma, which he composed in Tibet. An Indian great teacher composing this text, Chanchu Lamji Doma, which shows the complete path from the beginning to the end. Lays out the entire Buddhist path in terms of the 3 vehicles, Hinayana, Mahayana, and Vajrayana, and became the model for subsequent texts in the genre of Lamrim, the stages of the path. There he also met the man who would become his closest disciple, Dr. Jelwe June. So the text that we are going to read is the dialogue or discussion between Dr. Jelwe June and Adisha. And the interesting thing is this, that during the last many days I've been just reading this text, which is a long text. What we are reading is just the main point, root text kind of, but the actual dialogue is quite long. And I did not see any particular commentary specifically written on this text. So I had to read this longer version and try to get a little bit idea from all of those, right? Having grown close to Nakso, Adisha next traveled to Nakso's homeland, Mangyur. Nakso Loza was from a place called Mangyur, where he stayed for a year, prevented from returning to India by a war in the region. Adisha is said to have sent a letter to his abbot requesting permission to stay in India for the rest of his life. The two next traveled to Yu and Tsang, where Adisha received invitation to visit temples and give teachings. They arrived in Tsang in 1046 and Samye in 1047. Although it is commonly said that Adisha revived the monastic ordination in Tibet, in reality he was not involved in any ordination. The Vinaya in Tibet had survived the so-called dark period that followed the collapse of the empire, preserved by the so-called Eastern Vinaya monks who fled to Amdo and maintained the tradition. The Eastern Vinaya tradition had already brought the Vinaya back to Tibet by the time Adisha arrived. And because Adisha's ordination was Lokotravād rather than the Mula Sarvasthi, ordination that Tibetans had followed ever since the days of the empire, he was not involved in any ordination. There is evidence that many Tibetan communities of monks opposed to Adisha's presence. Because with people always feel threatened when somebody comes, you see. And we have this habit of saying that everything that I already have is the best. People don't want to change. So there was a resistance also. And that he was largely forbidden from teaching in the manner to which he was accustomed. In addition to Samye, the places he visited were Samye and Thangbuche, founded by Khotun Chundu Yunglu, the disciple of Eastern Vinaya monk Lume. Yurme Dorji, one modern scholar, says that Adisha also rebuilt Meru Nyingma Monastery in Lhasa. Whether Adisha was personally involved or not, it seems that Meru Nyingma was rebuilt during the revival of Tibetan Buddhism following Adisha's arrival in Tibet. Adisha spent 5 years in Nithang, in the southern Chichu Valley south of Lhasa. A temple was built there a year after Atisha's death, where his body was embalmed. The next year, in 1056, Domtom established Redding Monastery, initiating the Kadam tradition. So basically, he spent, I think, 13 or 17 years in Tibet. So this is a very, very interesting story, just for your information. Then I want to read a little bit about Domtamba. Buddhist master Kadamba order founder Domtamba, born 1005, became an important Tibetan Buddhist master and founder of the Kadamba order. In fact, when I was reading this text, just for your information, I really felt like, lay people studying a Domtamba center. Because Domtamba was not a monk, he remained as a layperson. And if you read the text, I don't remember anything, but the very reason he remained as a layperson was so that he is easily accessible to many. And he was easily accessible. Anybody can invite him. Because if you're a monk, then there is a special respect to be paid, certain protocols to be followed. So Domtamba said, no, I should. Because he was really the Avalokiteshvara, Chandisik. And if you look at this dialogue between Atisha and Domtamba, frequently, Atisha calls him Chandisik. You are Avalokiteshvara. So this dialogue is so interesting. Although Domtamba is supposed to be asking the question and Atisha is answering, but many times you will find that Domtamba actually was explaining many things to Chogoje also. Then Chogoje very often says, you yourself is such a great scholar, why are you asking this question to me? And on another occasion he says, yes, absolutely, you are such a great scholar, you know all these things, yes, absolutely. So this dialogue was actually really like confirming and reconfirming their realizations for the sake of people. And another very interesting point that I got by reading this text is, and which really looks like a very unique feature of the Kadamba tradition, is to make the teaching very simple. Repeatedly Domtamba says, don't make the teaching too complex. People will not understand it. Even if you have many things to say, don't say everything. They will not understand. They will get confused. Make it simple. So that is why I really liked it. So I'm committed to read more. And you should please read this. Beautiful teaching. So, became an important Tibetan Buddhist master and founder of the Kadamba order. Teachings, Kadamba order, with its emphasis on direct practical application of the Buddha's teaching, has remained an inspiration for all schools of Tibetan Buddhism. The famous mind training, teaching lineage is primarily offshoot of this Kadamba masters, right? Domtamba is depicted as the foremost Tibetan disciple of the Indian saint Atisha, and is said to have been instrumental in persuading Atisha to remain in Tibet. Huh? You see? So now we see His Holiness Dalai Lama as Avalokiteshvara, of course. And His Holiness very often mentioned that he feels this very special connection with Domtamba. And Domtamba is like the place he built, the famous holy place that he built and he resided was Redding. And for the first time His Holiness visited Redding at a quite young age. His Holiness said, without any reason, he could not stop just crying and crying. There was the connection missing. So we should also pray that one day we are able to visit that holy place, Redding. Very special place. Domtamba is traditionally considered an emanation of Avalokiteshvara, the Buddha of compassion. Before meeting Atisha, he had studied Buddhist doctrine with the Tibetan master, but eager to receive teachings directly from Indian masters, he began to study Sanskrit. But when at the age of 38, he heard about Atisha's arrival in Western Tibet, Domtamba immediately felt the urge to meet him, Lindi Yorma, and received permission from his teacher to do so. Atisha accepted him as a disciple, having already received word of his arrival through a prophecy from the goddess Tara. When Atisha wanted to return to Tibet, Domtaba persuaded him to continue his spiritual work in Tibet. After Atisha's death, Domtaba retreated to Rending, where in 1056 he founded the Rending monastery, which was to remain the center of Kadamba order till the 15th century. The Kadamba order, often depicted as reformist tradition, emphasized compassionate conduct based on monastic discipline. Although during the 15th century it was absorbed into the emerging order, its influence on the Tibetan monastic tradition can hardly be overestimated. Still, it is said that all major Tibetan traditions emulated the monastic model provided by the Kadamba masters. And even if they are practicing Tantra, they would never show it. So there are stories of some of the Kadamba masters who, after their death, then they discover some bell or vajra in their possession, through which they are able to say, oh, he also practiced Tantra. But when they are alive, nobody would be able to understand, figure that out. So what? The Kadamba tradition is moreover well known for its use of stories and dire. The Kadamba tradition is more well known for its use of stories and analogies to make complex religious issues accessible to a wider audience. This direct and experiential approach found classical expression in the teachings of mind training, which were to become a cherished element of all Tibetan traditions. Domtaba was most outstanding student, who because of their close spiritual kinship were known as the three brothers. He had three brothers, means his three prominent disciples, the Puchungwa, Jengawa, and Bodhawa. What did they do? So this is a brief reading, very moving, if you read their story. So now let us start. The Bodhisattva garland of gem. Garland of gem. Ordinarily, if you put a garland of gem, it beautifies you. That's why people are fond of putting ornaments. So this text is basically saying that if you really want to put that ornament, then don't just put the ornament of ordinary gem, ordinary gold, ordinary silver, but put on the gem of compassion. Put on the gem of bodhicitta. Here, Penzem Shie, Sama Samboji, the Genja Yashu. Tilling Jayama. The Genja to Kumek to Yamara, Chakwe to Jomi Yamare, Pesha Tevate Omare. Here was the Sadaka Dona, Jamachosi, Kidu, the Jamajan, Kido de Ugo. And the Chitarichi, Mena Kaniji, Tari Yudia, Kumasho, Chapole, Meat of Dosa, TJ, Jubium Kabudo. To the pay and the Bodhisattva garland of gem. This is really saying that, what is most important is cultivate these inner qualities: compassion, loving kindness, bodhicitta, tolerance, patience. These inner resources, these inner qualities is the real gem. Right? I'm not saying that you don't need these external possessions, but what is really important at the end of the day, and especially for somebody who is looking for long-lasting happiness, the real resource is the inner resource. So these Buddhist teachings are really like fixing what is wrong. Somebody has used this very beautiful word. Let us focus not on rearranging the externals, but let us focus on rearranging the internals. The internal emotions are not regulated, not rearranged properly. So we need to rearrange the internal qualities. Not rearranging the houses, the furniture, the chairs. The kuja parsha, chusha, the dig, hita, chia, the ten nings you do, chick to way, the dig the digger, the so much. Dig the number the tricks. The truth there. Konguru Trudu Yore, Dojaga Trudu Yore, Yomogu Trudu Yore, it's completely disturbed by all the negative. So rearrange it internally. Similarly, I use this phrase instead of continuously updating the technology, including your mobile. Update yourself. In the case of the external things like mobile, we keep on updating. The feature, update it. This one doesn't have this feature, update it, What? So whether, I don't know it's really necessary or not necessary, but we have this habit of updating and getting the latest things. In many cases it may be needed, but in many cases it is just desire. It's just desire. But as far as question of updating oneself, hardly there is any updating. Just the title, if you look at this, the Bodhisattva calendar of Jain. If you have bodhicitta, you will be happy in this life. You will be happy in the future life. You will be happy in the day. You will be happy in the night. You will be happy when you are alone. You will be happy when you are with many people. It's like panacea, which cures all conveniences. But Samananda Cheniche or Jiva Chen, the big mother. Samananda Chen, the counting is the big chap days of the Mingra or Galen said. So when you have this internal qualities, naturally you are happy. When you are happy, naturally smile will come on your face. And that's the most beautiful ornament. If you don't have this smile on the face, if you don't have this radiance on the face, you may have like gold earrings and so many things, but as far as your facial expression is concerned, the radiance will not be there. So it doesn't look nice, really. It doesn't look nice. So most beautiful ornament is, somebody has said, the most beautiful that you can wear is your expression. It's not your clothes, your expression. And when you have this loving kindness, friendship, compassion, your eyes look different. Your face looks different. And in one of the sutra, it clearly mentions that when you are relaxed and calm and happy, your breathing will be better. When your breathing is good, which means there will be good, smooth flow of energy within yourself, then the blood circulation will also be good. When the blood circulation is good, naturally your face will also get blood. Then the radiance on the face will come. I am not saying this. It's in the sutra. Thag gyuvar chedo, shinji dang sevar chedo, sikdana thag gyuvar chedo, thag gyuvar. Shinji dang sevar chedo, tene shinji dang sevo nyingyo charves. So, Pelamotoda, Jawar Shiri, some years ago. So there is the thing. We'll transition on the routine one. You should be happy that we are able to read such precious things. And then, as far as paying homage, first he pays homage. In the Indian language, Bodhisattva Mani Avali, in the Tibetan language, or the routine one, which I basically explained. Then, with the homage, Tuji Shambhala Shastra, homage to the great compassion. Look at this, homage to the great compassion. Like Madhyamika Avatara pays homage to great compassion. So there are some texts which pays homage not to the Buddha, not to the Manjushri, not to Avalokiteshvara. Because this Buddha, Manjushri, Avalokiteshvara, they all become great because of the inner quality. And one of the most important inner qualities is compassion. So I pay respect to this inner qualities like compassion. So good. What? We respect to those things which is really precious and which is really useful, not just for oneself, for many, many people. Now if we look at compassion, it's a wish thinking how nice if all sentient beings are without suffering. Imagine if you are able to develop such a mind. You will be filled with happiness. Your own personal problems and worries will just disappear. Normally we face so much personal problem, difficulties because we have this habit of focusing just about oneself. What will happen to me? What will happen to my child? What will happen to my property? You know, even when you get little bit headache, you just concentrate on your headache. Never thinking that there are hundreds, not even hundreds, millions of people who are not only suffering from headache, but who are suffering from constant malnutrition, constant threat and killing of, killing in a war zone, for example. What is the refuge population in today's world? 60, 70 million people are refugees, out of which there are so many who are just dying almost every day. So comparing to that, we are nothing. So thinking more about the needs of others will help you develop this wider perspective. Homage to the great foundation. Which basically means, like in our daily life also, we should always pray that may I be able to develop a good mind. Good mind means seeing others like yourself, wanting happiness, not wanting suffering. Despite not wanting suffering, people get a lot of suffering. So what? They told me every ninja, for example, if your own brother or sister or somebody is suffering, don't you feel concerned? You feel concerned, why? Because it's my brother, my sister. So these teachings, they are saying, these all sentient beings are your brother, your sister, your father, your mother, of many lifetimes. You are not being able to recognize them today doesn't mean that they are not your relatives. What? Number one. Number two, even in practical terms, we are compelled to live like brothers and sisters in this small world. What? Like if you are like studying in school, all these kids, like 500, 600, 1000, whatever number, these kids come from different places. In the beginning, you don't know each other. But when then you spend 10, 12 years, you become like brothers and sisters. Similarly, our co-workers, we need to see them as brothers and sisters, helping each other, never developing ill will. Some days there may be some misunderstanding, disagreement, anger, fighting a little bit, but that is it. Just get angry if there's a need to fight, and then finish the matter over there. Don't hatch ill will. What? Even with brothers and sisters, you do have disagreement. But if you keep that in your mind, and then for the rest of the life, if you say, I'm not going to talk to my sister, is a shameful thing, you say. What? Really? So this condition is like a magic. Now not only this is like emphasized in Buddhism, but scientists and many thinkers, they did a lot of experiments, how important these positive qualities are. All the problems, difficulties that we have because of thinking just about oneself. I, me, my, day and night, I, me and my, we talk about I, me and my brother, sister, my, always, not about bigger things. Right? When it comes to little bit bigger things, then you start fighting Buddhist religion, Christian religion, Hindus and Muslims, and even among the Tibetans, the three provinces, Chogasam, Chuluk, Ilam, and then Jali someday, Chonyo, Levachungi, Taro. Even those who are not any practitioner of Buddha's teaching, but people who think, they talk about globalization, they talk about internationalism. And if you want to become a good Buddhist practitioner, then in the Mayan tradition, we talk more bigger than globalization, we talk bigger than internationalism, we talk about all mother sentient beings. Right? So if we are able to embrace that concept, practice a little bit, we have this wonderful, wonderful access to such a religion, such a culture, all mothers and beings. Right? So this bodhicitta means the wish to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. What is bodhicitta? Bodhicitta means the wish to become Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. And that bodhicitta can come only through the practice of compassion. If you don't have this wish, how nice if all sentient beings are without suffering, there's no way you can develop this wish to become Buddha for the benefit of sentient beings. So bodhicitta is rooted in compassion. Therefore, he pays homage to great compassion. And as I said, all the great qualities of bodhisattvas and Buddhas come from compassion. Therefore, you pay great homage to great compassion. And especially all these Kadampa masters, right from Atisha, their main focus is practice of compassion. I think that's also one reason that you pay homage to great compassion. And what is homage? Tungji Chembulu Chasalu. Tungji Chembulu means great compassion. Paying Chasalu means what? Chasalu English homage. Tibetan chak means to sweep. Kechapa. Just as in the room, if there's a lot of dust, you sweep it clean. Similarly, when you do Buddhist practice, the dust that you need to sweep out is your mental negative emotions. Dosha khena demula sowe nyomogi kining do yorwa odi chapres. When you pay homage, what you do is you do two things. One, naram kyo magoyore dosha khena demu sowe kyo magoyore tusu chari zangwa suis. Ta tusu chasa zangwa suene tandu tichiku digmar yunde gurwa. Chal sidu lengins. Naronas. Kari naronas na ta sanji ta chaju semba tusu usum tu rosa pata yunde mago shiwiro tusu nashi ngema shiwins. So the purpose of your undertaking Buddhist practice is on the one hand to remove the negative emotions which are like dust, and then also obtain the positive qualities like compassion, loving kindness, and so forth. Chaksara. Akusama meaning Akusama Chaksara. With this understanding, then you go down with great respect. Then the second line, homage to the lamas. Who are the lamas? Lamas. Lama means superior. Lama means Kongo. Profound level. Lama means superior. Not all the monks are lamas. For example, I am not lama. Okay, I am not lama. Not only lama. Lama means superior. I am not superior. So normally the true gurus, the true gurus. So Lama is superior. So normally the true gurus, reincarnated lamas, whether they are real reincarnated or false reincarnation, don't know, but we call them lamas, supposed to be superior, lama. But the true meaning of lama, is if you are a genuine lama, then you should be someone, as His Holiness the Dalai Lama says, he should be somebody who cares more about others than oneself. The indication that one is a good lama is one who cares more about others than oneself. One who cares more about future lives than this life. If there is somebody who has this big title of Lama, but all he cares is primarily about himself, and all he cares is primarily about this life, then not very good Lama. Not very good Lama. But here we are talking about qualified Lama, like Avalokiteshvara, Buddha and so forth. So these are great teachers, great Lamas, great superior beings. So therefore, we should pay homage to them. Lama Namo Chao. This one. So why do you pay homage to the Lamas? Before the Lamas, there were no Buddhas even. There's a very interesting story of Marpa, his encounter with Milarepa. So after a lot of hardship, one day Marpa decided he would give some teaching. So Milarepa came to see him, and then Marpa was already very highly realized, was very powerful, so he manifested Chakrasamvara, a great tantric deity, manifested Chakra Samvara. And then if there is a Chakra Samvara, there is a Marva. So when Milarepa came, so these two were standing there in front of him. Then Milarepa hesitated to whom I should bow down first, Lama or this Tantric deity Chakra Samvara. Then he thought, oh, Lama, I can see him very often because he's in the human physical human form. So this Tantric deity, I will not be able to see him very often, so I should pay homage to him first. So immediately Marva, he said, before the sun, Lama mebe corona sanje chabe meyame, so sanje tamje Lama tale teme chungs, and the kare kanji did Islamic Jew Islam. Before the Buddhas, there were no Lamas. All the Buddhas of the three times were emanations of the Lamas. So this personal deity, which is there, is also just a manifestation of the Lama, and then he snapped his finger and this deity disappeared. That's just to show that he is really the medium to gain this access. Number one. Number two, it's important to have a clear-cut understanding about how you relate to Lama or teacher, true teacher. In many Buddhist teachings, especially in the Tantric teachings, there are teachings saying that you should see your Lama as your Buddha, as an enlightened person. But of course, you have some Lamas, but you also see their faults. Then you can develop this, question: how can I see this fellow as the Buddha? As an ordinary glance. So there are two ways of looking at this. One, even by seeing the fault, it will help you to see his qualities more. Like, for example, your relation with your parents. It doesn't mean that your parents are perfect. Or maybe perfect, but doesn't mean that they are without any faults. They have faults. But despite their own limitations, imperfections, their faults, but still how much effort they are making towards you, showing their love, compassion, whatever. So because of this, you are able to develop more feeling of love and compassion to your parents. My mother really doesn't have much, but she gave all this to me, So on the one hand, you are seeing her limitation. So even with this limitation, she is helping you. And when you are able to know this, that you will be able to develop greater appreciation. So khatar ke na chigo asama jibu wa jeno kyo to ma yunding ke tos. Jigdire. The kyo yoba yin kyo to do na. Yibali. The Lama may not have a fault, but it is you who is finding this fault. There's another way of seeing things. For example, like when we relate to many people, we always have something negative to say. Oh, so much of the fault that you thought is there with the person may not be there. It is how you project things. Third, even if the Lama is completely enlightened, how do you think he will be able to relate to you if he doesn't come down to your level? For example, if you are to help the cat, the only way you can talk to the cat is meow. Hey, you cat, are you not going to drink your milk? Too much. Even if the Lama is highly qualified, he has to come to you in a way so that he is able to relate to you. That's also the possibility. So these are many possibilities. So don't make hasty conclusions. Not only with the Lama, with other people also. Don't make hasty conclusions. It may be dependent on many things. And then of course, as an ordinary parlance, you have every right to judge, analyze, and if you see somebody is doing great many mistakes, you cannot say that, oh, lamen zepai je, no do ya. So ji gasha de lamen no do khartana, lamen zepai la. Na por de lamen de zan inu de struggle na. Tene mishenda khase tana so di chokhan do na mangu thos na de jo mangu yo. Tadi yakuma one je. You thoma da yakuma re samajhe. So bija ke chena yakuma re samajhe for. But we have this problem of like somebody that you like as your lama or as your teacher, and especially if you're getting some monetary or material benefit, then even if many people are criticizing, you would not criticize that person because you're getting benefit from that person. That is wrong. That's wrong. What? So you really need to develop this honest approach, honest mind. So in general, lama means your guide, your spiritual teacher, which is very, very important. Very important, because even those things that we can see in this world, even in ordinary parlance, even if you want to learn carpentry or things like that, which you can actually see, still there you need somebody to teach you, instructor, guide. This is the case. Then what need is there to talk about the need of a qualified teacher, experienced teacher, who will share his or her experience about the things that will come in the future lives, or things that are related to your spiritual well-being. So therefore, in this text, he is paying homage to the Lama because he was saying that now, probably the Lama here is Atisha or other great teachers. So Ramdaba was basically saying, now that we have religious Lama, Atisha and other great teachers here, this is the time to clear all my doubt. Lama Namla Chaksa to the answer to the Chaksa was Lagia Mada, Tanda Chigo, Tanda Karasana, the Lama Chimba, Lama Tanda Tamji Chimba Shubu Tuzu. I must cut all my doubts when I have such wonderful teachers here. Very important. Like when His Holiness is here giving his teachings, I must take that opportunity. There will be a time when His Holiness will not be here, it's for sure. There will be a time when many great teachers will not be accessible. Kakura. And Jala Gajina. That is a sales to do das by Nimakashi Diwali Chikur, here Rasamarella, and someone there is a sale going on in Lower Dharamsala for a limited period of the time. And when people say, oh, they are giving a big discount, so unless you go within this specified period, you are not going to get it, everybody will rush down. Not a chingo big. When some of the Milokanjila Gunga Devaina. Namjam Kutum Tuba Jegu to the Kiwashira Dulan, someone you do the taxi line. That the Lelo or Samarella, Suzu Gomiko Tagim and Yawatu. And they may be that Javamusunga, Kecha Gina, Suzuki, Tama, Geneti, Kechamata, Foko, the Masin, or something, Comoredo. That was not that, he lowered that. The December of this. Jezada Lama Shukulata, Ligni, Tesuki, Choja. That they Majevache, and a Kazabin Lama Mashu. There will be time when the Lama will not be here. So now is the time when you have this access to the great teacher, you must cut all your doubts. Ask questions. That's why Ramdaba was asking all these questions. Lama Namla Chancellor, to the Chamber Chancellor, and the Sunjura Romas. And especially at this time of degeneration, certain beings are wild and unruly. Wild and unruly. Even if somebody gives a very profound teaching, nobody will be able to understand it. Not many people will show up. So there will be not much interest. And everybody says, I'm very busy. Busy in what? Doing what? Running out, running down, buying things, small things up and down from Megloganj, from Lower Dharamsala, things like that. It is Richiloma, the busy city. Everybody says, I'm busy. Nobody knows why you are so busy. It's not important you are busy. What is important is what are you busy about. So if you asked what are you busy about, and most of the times you are busy about very stupid, silly things. And one of the Kadamba master, he asked his student, are you practicing? And he says, yes, I'm practicing. He said, don't tell lie. I saw you sleeping the whole night, and in the day I saw you distracted all the time. So when do you find time to practice it? How about the life you sleep? And then in the day you need time for food, you need again time for a nap, again time for going up, going down. Oh my goodness. Then these days there are so many other distractions in this so-called mobile phone and the ting, tong, ping, every time you feel like to takawai charotang sungi. Mangche chome takushe. Takushe te sabso che. Trin the chance on the denshik to do. Azumai Nimara series of yes one Sigaman called to say it is a third one. Nimarella Kase, Nimarella series of Nimarella mobile, yes one, Harina Chiki, and Nimakaze Chikiman, Mikari Tasha, say it was 60,000. Do a mobile now, big tango do a yama. One day it's too much, really too much. Little bit. Of course, it's an important medium. I also have one. It's an important medium to get messages, many good advantages. But how much time you should spend on these things? Can you change the mobile phone? Mangsa pendo, no bobe do chuo should mobile phone. Message tampu She human, she mobile phone casino. What go much go Matayan? Kitchen, see the importance. See the importance. I only paid all the person, so manage some of the resource, and then we say now to make a situation so some of us. So we are passing through this time of degeneration where sentient beings are unruly, self-centered, all the thing about this. Material benefits, so they don't practice what is being taught. So that way they also make the spiritual teachers commit sin. So because of these situations, from the Prophet, now I must take this opportunity and ask Adisha teaching which I can really trust. The Lotte to be choosy, Shugu, Lotte to be choosy. Lotte to be taught Guru. We need a friend that we can really trust. Yesterday in the class I was distributing this very interesting kind of piece where a teacher brings a jar, empty jar, and then he puts a rock which goes from the mouth until to the bottom. Okay? Then he asks his students, is the jar full? Then everybody says, yes, the jar is full. Then he brings some pebbles, Duru puts into it. Still there are places, because this is one solid rock. So there is space for pebbles, and he puts pebbles. Then after that, it looks like it's filled up, and he asks his student, is the jar full now? Everybody says, yes. Then he brings dust and pours on it. Dust goes down all the way, fills up. Is the jar full? He says, yes. Then he gives a beautiful explanation by saying that the rock inside the jar, when I put that rock inside the jar, and when you say that this is full, this is true. Because in your life, you need certain things like a rock. Meaning that in your life, you need relatives and friends to whom you can really trust. If you have that rock like really trustable friends or relatives, whatever, teachers, whatever, then the other things like pebbles or dust. Pebbles means other things like motorbike or car, or, many things. We have so many things we need. So this, if they are there, okay. Even if they are not there, your life is not lost. You're still happy. And then there are other things like dust, many small things, we need. Then he shows this experiment again, but by first filling the jar with dust. When the dust is full, there's no place for pebbles. There's no place for rocks. You see, meaning that if in your life you fill your life with stupid things, junk, junk. Chomela, the you any kind of there's no space for your relatives, no space for your friends, no space for your teachers, Which is true because these days many people go with the small junk, things. The minority was absolutely right. So we need to find a good teacher. At the same time, experiment, test the teacher. Just receiving teaching from somebody is okay. That doesn't make that person your teacher. That doesn't make that person as your lama. But if you want to commit yourself to some people, and who you want to say this is my lama, then take some time to experiment that. Their conversation, their behavior, their experience. Then only after that. Today, mache haruri chiju, nelama is love, nimakashi jelian katangide, chuchiga. The Sazai and the Dero, Dati Maji, Joko Chasa, Tinia, Saza Kate, Javeja, Tidero to Sama, Dati Maji, all this. Whether it's relating to a teacher or whether it's a marriage. Before do examination, if you hurriedly hold on to things, then the end result will not be good. Right? That is some law. So therefore you should be able to see the importance of the teacher, know about the great qualities of the teacher. Many great qualities are needed, but out of which 3 are very important. One, the Lama should have compassion. Because if he doesn't have compassion, he will never really help the student. Second, he should be more qualified than you. Of course, otherwise he can't teach, right? There's common sense. Third, Jungal Seva means he should be ready to spend some time, undergo a little bit difficult. It's not college, it's lecturer on the Kotang Children. In a time, call pen and dinner Dixon and to date to me, there's college to me. This will work. That if you have that the teacher has a compassion, then he will also be ready to work for you. So the third quality is the teacher's readiness to work for you, endure certain hardships, spending time, whatever. So 3 things are most important. Because at this period of time of degeneration, it's very difficult to find a teacher who has all the qualities. But at least these 3 qualities must be there. If the Lama has compassion, then he will never deceive, never cheat, never take advantage of you. And if he has qualities, especially based on experience, he will be able to show, guide, teach you. And then if he is the third factor, able to endure certain hardships, meaning he'll be able to spend time. Look after you. So these 3 are important. So therefore, once you find such a teacher, it's important to remember that teacher, even recite his names, like in the case of His Holiness Dalai Lama, who we all accept as our Lama. So Guru Pazadara, Vagindra Sumati Shasradara, Samudra Shiribada Sarvasidi Formos, Devarmajim Senarva, Tusutaya. Om Guru Vajradara Sumati Shasradara, Om Guru Vajradara, Nikrasi Sumati Shasradara, Jiva, Devarmajim Senarva. If you do this, then the Lama will, really remain close in your heart. In the night also you will get his dream. How many times we try to see His Holiness in the day, but if you follow this trick, then he will visit you every night. It's possible because the mind will always go after, in whatever area you make your mind habituated, the mind will go there. If you think about meat all the time, in the night also you will be in the dreaming, in the dream also you will be eating meat, you see? Rawa, losing the Karl Koma Rawa. Jabarum Jinuan, the shooting was some of the Lomborum, Chella did not die. Sanjitum did, I'm Lamdadi, Namju the mother. 여러분 제는 제뉴를 산지 제뉴야 말때 물론도 양 미군의 산지 수도지 오늘 수요가 밑으로 하신 제들이 이거 all this is possible. Right? All this is possible. So your way to relate to the teacher is wonderful, very important. And it is by relating to such a teacher that you will be able to put an end to all the wrongdoings in your life. Right? And all these teachings also come from the teacher. Source of all these teachings are the teacher. So that way the Lama is also very, very important. And then the next object of paying homage is homage to the deities of devotion. Now it is in the Kadamba tradition that not only you should have a good teacher, but you should also have this deities of devotion. Deities of devotion. Last age, or deities of devotion. In the Kadamba tradition, there may be many, but the four deities are very, very important. Kadamba, Buddha, because he is the source of all the teaching. Then plus Tara, and then Avalokiteshvara, then Achala, Miyowa, Miyowa, Mombo, Cheresi, Santi Cheresi, and Jizudoma, and then Miyowa, Achala, this will be. Now, why do we need to pay homage to the deities of devotion? Because at this time of degeneration, there are a lot of interruptions when it comes to doing Dharma practice. Despite your good motivation, there will be a lot of interruptions, a lot of hindrances, and there will be very few deities who will give you the blessing or the boon unless you relate to them. Sanjay da Chanju Semada Koras Yuyabara. Ina Narasu Gete Sian Devaji Majena, Korasu Chana Che the Kakuya. Ningi Meva the Maria. Chitano to Kasabana, Sanjay, Tujiki, Chaptu Yonayans, Nazula Tebeke, Alumena, Chaptu Dinematang de Yota, the Alumena, the Chaptu Kavajua. Nazu Tebake Alumna, even if the Buddha's compassion, compassion is there, but if you don't have this ring of devotion, there's no place to put this hope and help you. This is another Deva Alumna, Deva Diana, Sanjiki, Tuji, Chapju the Machan, anything, but this sort of page away, not to say. The day you want to logic. It doesn't be part of who you are. So in this time of degeneration, there are many interruptions and very rare deities that will give you the attainment and blessing. And therefore, there are very few people who have this attainment, who have this accomplishment, who will get this success. Because we are now living in an age where all of us think that I can manage, I'm somebody. Where's the need of Buddha? Where's the need of Avalokiteshvara? Who are they? I have not seen, so I don't believe, you know. Also, the next child you wrote that is a Toya Jaja, Mato came in it. Miki Dula Jaja, Matoki. Takwa Java Kariwa came in it, Chavo Chivo. Mato, Chavo, Muni, Mato, Mangoyo. We are living in an age where we live only in what we see and what we feel and what we touch, what we can hear, and we believe only in the sensual objects, nothing more or less. And that is what is promoted by science. The field of science is only the sensual objects. They are not talking about mind, which has nothing to do with the brain, you know, which has nothing to do with the nervous system. They are not talking about such mind. They will say, I have no idea. But we do talk about mind and body. But it's a fact, it's a reality. When you talk about mind, it's not like a body that you can directly touch and feel and see. So how are you going to explain this? Either you stop from today onwards saying that I have mind, or if you do, say that I have a mind, then you should know a little bit about mind. So mind is basically colorless, shapeless, shapeless, colorless, shapeless kind of certain energy. And that energy is such a powerful energy. And that is the one that decides your fate. That is the one that decides your fate. It's not your body, it is your mind which decides what to do, what not to do, where to go, where not to go, what to eat, what not to eat. So this mind which makes all the decisions, which gives all the directions, must be a knowledgeable one, intelligent one. If the mind itself, which guides you, which shows you the direction, if that mind itself is stupid, ignorant, and more importantly, negative, then you will go to hell. Honestly speaking. Right? So that is the reason that we must, number one, know our mind. Number two, train the mind to the positive side. And as I've always said, that the mind is basically like nuclear energy. If you look at nuclear energy, it is neither good nor bad, it's just given energy. Now the important thing is this given potential, this great potential of nuclear energy must be used for constructive purpose. That is, if you use it for producing electricity, for bringing water, or harnessing so many other good things, then many people get benefit. Contrarily, if you use this nuclear energy to prepare nuclear bomb to be dropped on the head of millions of innocent people, the result we all know. So similarly, this mind is really like this nuclear energy. If you use it in the positive side, then you will have the Dalai Lama, you have Mother Teresa, you have Mahatma Gandhi. If you use it in the wrong side, you have Mao Zedong, you have Hitler, you have Idi Amin, which brought hell on earth. Similarly for some. So therefore it is important to know about the mind. So the practice has to be done by the mind. The positive emotions and negative emotions are, when we talk about positive emotions and negative emotions, we are talking about different states of mind. So when you take this journey of cultivating the positive emotions, reducing the negative emotions, it is dependent on so many factors, not just your personal initiative and effort, but it also is dependent on the support and guidance given by the Buddha, Avalokiteshvara, these deities. Therefore you need to take, their support also. So therefore we are saying homage to the deities of the devotion. So the 3 days, the Kadam Sashi Sigre, if you want to know, when I become director here, after a few years, then I commissioned to make a Thanga of the Kadam Sashi, which is now on display in the library. Kadam Sashi, Thanga Yakuchi Suyo, another. The mobile kick tracks the Jam Yardish Tagari. We will not charge anything. Kishila gives you books, not Kishila did the sheens. Position the horses in the Jaffa. But the here Kishamu to that, not the Shingu, nothing, no inspiration content, because I worked with these soldiers, traveled with these soldiers to many places, and at one point in all this, Tuva Republic in Russia, Kalmykia Republic in Russia, Mongolia, His Holiness was distributing this small, I think 1 or 2 page, text that he composed. And then he was on many places talking about the Kataplashi and gave this initiation also many times. And moreover, now I'm reading this book, I got more information about this. So the 4 Kadamba, La, Tuba, Yermi, Cheresi, Miyongo, the Romai, think it's since she was a Kunjus of the Lamachi, Tuba, Buddha. Yermi Cheresi, Avalokiteshvara. Miyongon, Mio, to Miowa. Achala Sivata, Hindi Ganina. This is also an important deity in Japan also. Japanese to Miowa thing is the one. Miyongona, Dormai, Dormatara. That's Sanji Chugi Chungung Imbe, and Tubasan Jom de Konatebetabo, Jeris Ninjigarasu, Ninjago Sama Buyosa, and the Lapazeta de Sea Buyosa and Miowa. And the Chilean that in the Tondon Yoko do wish to Doma. Rota Doma, not some of Doma Jure, and it Persevere. Jeris in the Monster Manicure, Matalaya. 다 두바서 좀 되네나 다 그래서 어머니는 마음은 소저에 이지로 뭐지 또 저저 루시고 해도 이제 제서 쉬고 군조스는 나마지 if you are seeking permanent security then of course you have the three ratanas Buddha Dharma Sangha right Ajitachi Sigor, that is like Damdan the Hero, like Damdan. If you are somebody seeking permanent security, then of course there's nothing above than the Buddha Dharma and Sangha. Right? Now in the case out of this, in the case of the Buddha, there are many Buddhas. But the one Buddha that we are related in this eon is Buddha Shakyamuni. Therefore he is one of the personal deity. Right? 산지 뚱들이 중요해 됐다. 나도 가바디나는 산지 샤지 두고 공부했어. 딩은 라직스기 있어. Among the bodhisattvas, there are many bodhisattvas. Bodhisattvas who have reached the 10th spiritual level, there are many bodhisattvas. So in terms of their compassion, they are all same. They are all same. Right? But the one that appeared in the form of bodhisattva on the 10th ground, and who has incomparable compassion, and who become the special deity of the Tibetans, is Avalokita Shiva. Therefore, this is the special deity of the Tibetans. Then among the female deities, there are many, but out of which one who is not tainted with any fault and who is, adorned with all the qualities and who really is almost like embodiment of the primordial wisdom of all the Buddhas, and one who will be there to protect you from all the 8 fears. Sari, Jigba, Chugi, Jigba, Megi, Jigba, Jigba, Jejubs, Jugi, fear. Is Tara, who is the personal deity of Adisha. Because of this connection, I will also regard Tara as one of the deities. Then with reference to the 4th deity, Achala, this is among the certain kind of deities or spirits that people practice, the Nyingyo Hyuthongsungadi. Kashi dinde yores, susu dugyundu kanda jundu chuchini chikar ule jeba thongse. Kashi sa ina de ina kar kashi chik namju tako chaba jechini shiga namu jira ugle na ingres. Chasa da shukde mate se tu su gudi sungde di jumse do da di pecha nyingbar da 10th century. Pecha da tusu na da dinde yungu yorwa. Shukde kecha di yorma de dinde yungu yorwa. Kanda jundu chuchini yapo chik choba chisa yapo majumna. There are those to whom you might have made offering for long time, but chikar ugle cheba the chikalamu utho yugide, chega yugide. Shudena tahana lagiduwa. Ko lengi yor sila giyor tanga. Tinde langi deve zose, tinde langi matu so dungile dugur zom, deve zom So such kind of bad so-called deity or whatever is worse than the ghost. Children in Dumwares and no Chabara Chigrin, Tamjabo said, Deve Chimmer in Rode, because if you continue to propitiate and relate to such a deity, they will take you to the bad state of existence. Chimang in Rode materials. Chudu Nomba Chicken Jomse, Chudu Nomba Chicken Jomse, Churan, the Latin Chabara, the Chidan, the Jig Nornaya, teacher of Tola Tables, Chumataba Chamber, corruption as here. The corruption, you are practicing corruption with somebody to whom you are a little bit dependent. Then on the day when you forget giving that certain amount of money, then he will try to destroy you. So like that. So we don't need such malevolent forces. So what we need is the one who really constantly gives you blessings, accomplishments, and one who is born from the body of the Buddha himself. is achala. Achala mata achala. Achala kweni. Achala sene miyo silwa. Chal sejora chal sene yo ki chala jala. Achala sene miyo ngwa. Or the means. Lion dini chujungi trinity so that deity achala is the personal deity, it's Dharma protector, and it will help you achieve all the activities. She said, so until the end of the space, please don't fluctuate and remain as my Dharma protector. Then Romgil Lashis, Romtoba, Kadam Hashi, say that Kadamba Chungu, the Romtoba Imba, Kunga Kadamba, Kadam Hashu do this lave. Kadambas are known as the practitioners who possess the 7 deities and practices. So in terms of practice, Lachu do this and Chusum, Lahi, Dom the Dune, Lahi di Mohians one, that Chusum the Karasana, Denusum. Do the Mama Sanjera social. That Timothy Diamond is 6 years. Sanjera social. Do the Dua Gomba Tisu, and Tigan Latisu. That Timothy Church was in the Tazama huge. You did the red one. What the third table Hala Chasu? That the Dinamata, the Dino to 60 Matam do these verses that are distributed. It is explained under 23 chapters. So this finishes the second chapter. Flashila dan Luinivo. That I get to what Legio Lama Losas or Sejoa or they live with Hawaii. That's not the Luinivo. What? Tiwaro Chini and the shout to the Sims.